Hello everybody and welcome back to Getaway Travels. In this week's video, we're going to be exploring one of Virginia's most underrated destinations, Bryce Resort in Basye, Virginia. Now, this little mountain town tucked away in the Shenandoah Valley might not be on your radar yet, but it should be. From hiking around the gorgeous Lake Laura to skiing, golfing, downhill mountain biking, and more, it is literally the perfect four-season escape. I visited for several amazing days in early fall, and it was honestly one of the best and just most peaceful and colorful fall escapes I've had in a while. So let's go ahead and dive in. But real quick, if you're new here, hello, I'm Carrie. I'm a Virginia-based travel writer and content creator who shares hidden gems, travel tips, and real experiences from my adventures across the world. So if you love discovering new destinations and getting insider tips before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more adventures from Virginia and around the world coming your way. Bryce Resort sits right in the heart of the Shenandoah Valley, just over 2 hours from Washington, D.C., and just under 3 hours from Richmond by car. But getting here is really part of the adventure because you are going to go along these gorgeous highways past Shenandoah National Park and these beautiful mountain scenes, and then eventually you're going to get on these quiet country roads that may be winding just a little bit, but it helps this resort feel tucked away from the rest of the world. Now, I've been to some other resorts in Virginia like Massanutten and Wintergreen, and I had an incredible time. Do not get me wrong, they are so much fun, but Bryce Resort feels a little bit different. It feels a lot more like a secret, like it's tucked away and you're just surrounded by all this beautiful nature for miles. You might even lose cell service for a bit, but trust me, you will not mind once you see the scenery. Bryce Resort is a four-season resort, so let's talk about the different things you can do at all times of year. I'm going to start with the warmer months because Bryce Resort is packed with fun things to do from spring to fall. It's a lot of the same ones, but they do vary slightly. First up, golfers will love the PGA Championship course, which rolls right across the property with these amazing mountain views. But if biking's more your speed, Bryce is home to 13 lift-accessible trails for all levels, beginner to advanced, plus they have lessons available through Take Aim Cycling. So if you're new to downhill mountain biking, or you just want to keep honing your skills before you hit the trails, you can take a lesson. And then there is the beautiful Lake Laura, which is a local favorite for swimming, kayaking, or paddleboarding during the warmer months. This is operated by Bryce Resort. There is a $10 fee to access the small beach, and once you're there, you can rent gear, or you can bring your own and use the launch point at the opposite end of the lake, which is public access. But if you are visiting in the fall, I have to say that this is where Bryce Resort really shines. The forests around Lake Laura just light up in these gorgeous shades of red and gold, and the easy 2.5-mile trail around the lake just is full of these postcard perfect views the entire way. The hike is pretty easy, but it will take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so make sure you wear good shoes and bring plenty of water. That is an absolute must do if you're visiting in the fall. However, that trail is open pretty much year round. This is also a great time for a round of golf or a bike ride down the mountain, since those trails do stay open until winter. And if you want to take in the view without breaking a sweat, you definitely need to grab a scenic lift pass for $10. You'll be able to hop onto the bike lift, go all the way to the top of the mountain, and then ride back down. The views are absolutely fantastic. Now, when winter rolls in, Bryce Resort turns into a full-on snow-filled destination with skiing, snowboarding, tubing, ice skating. They have it all. So no matter what level of winter sport thrill you're looking for, they have options. And just like the biking trails, these slopes are also beginner to advanced friendly. So you can pick the part that is the best fit for your skills, and they also have classes once again. So you can take a class before you hit the slopes to make sure you feel confident getting out there. But if you are feeling really good, you can even sign up for their racing classes to really test yourself and just see how fast you can go down those slopes. Now, Bryce Resort does operate a little differently in that it is a day use resort. So they don't actually own and operate on-site lodging like cabins or hotels or things like that. However, there are tons of Airbnbs, vacation rentals, hotels within a 5-minute drive of the resort, and there are some right next to the slopes, like they're on resort property, but they're owned by Basye locals instead of the actual resort. So you will have plenty of amazing places to stay that are right next to the action and have great views. I personally stayed off the resort in this cozy, pet-friendly cabin I found on Airbnb. It was just 5 minutes from the main part of the resort, and it had these great mountain views, a full kitchen, and a porch that was absolutely perfect for snuggling up with a cup of coffee. You might actually be surprised at how much good food you will find in this area. Like when you arrive to the resort, there's not a whole lot around here for a little ways. There is a hub with a couple restaurants and things to do right outside the road that leads to the resort, but it might feel a little sparse when you get there, but do not worry because there is so much good food to check out. On site at the Bryce Resort, you can check out the Copper Kettle for a nice sit-down type of meal, or the Bryce Landing Grill, which is where I had one of the best chicken sandwiches ever after my hike around Lake Laura. Like, it was shockingly good. Just outside the resort, you'll find the Burn Barrel, which is this laid-back spot with live music. They have lawn chairs where people will sit around the burn barrels and just talk. There's a bar down there, but upstairs there's a restaurant, and they had phenomenal birria tacos and wings, and it was just such a cool vibe for dinner. Right next door to the Burn Barrel and that little hub, there's Smiley's Ice Cream where you can get some delicious flavors, including pup cups for your doggo, and they also have a mini golf course and gem mining. And then there's the new Pale Fire Brewing if you're in the mood for pizza or a local craft brew. Real quick, I want to wrap up this video with some practical information for planning your trip. As I mentioned, Bryce Resort is about 2 hours from Washington, D.C., and 3 hours from Richmond if you just drive the whole way. However, you do have a couple different options for flying into the area. The Shenandoah Valley Airport is about an hour away, like between Harrisonburg and Stanton, so you can fly into there and then drive for about an hour. However, the Charlottesville Albemarle Airport and Washington Dulles Airport are both within like 90 minutes to 2 hours, so you can also just fly into there and then drive depending on where you're coming from. But if you're feeling extra bougie and you have your own plane, Bryce Resort actually has a landing strip. So you can contact them to schedule your private landing right on the resort. However, it only operates during the day, and my understanding is you can only be there during the day, like there's not a place to keep your plane overnight. If you are wanting to hit the slopes, book a lesson on site, anything like that, I would recommend purchasing your tickets online in advance because they do offer some online specials versus booking on site. However, if you do need to wait, you can always book your tickets at the gear shop for biking, skiing, snowboarding. It's right at the bottom of the slopes. And then the pro shop for golfing, you can also reserve a tee time online, and those prices vary based off of the day and time of day. I also cannot stress enough that you need to pack layers. This is a mountain destination, and it could be 80 degrees during the day and then drop down to like 50 at night. Like in the summer, fall time, it could rain whenever. The weather in the mountains can just be a bit volatile, so make sure you have layers that you can add on and take off as needed. A good rain jacket if you're going to be active. Make sure you have the right shoes for that. You do not want to be going around and getting a blister, so just think ahead for what you plan to do and make sure you pack accordingly. If you couldn't tell, my trip to Bryce Resort was honestly one of my favorite fall escapes ever. It was just so full of beautiful color, these peaceful scenes, and all these fun things to do. Like for me, it was the perfect combination of everything. And of course, it's up in the mountains, so it is right next to all of these incredible farms and orchards. So it's a perfect spot to go check out the farmers markets, go up into the mountains and try some apple cider and things like that, especially in the fall. But those types of places tend to have fresh produce and things to try year round as well. There's petting zoos. It was an hour away from the Virginia Scenic Railway, which I talked about last week. Like, I thought this was just such a perfect place to get away. It was fairly easy access to the extra stuff I wanted to do, but there was so much on site. And then at night, it was just so calm and peaceful and quiet and cozy. It was absolutely amazing. So honestly, whether you come for the skiing, the biking, or the hiking around Lake Laura, like, you just cannot go wrong here. There are so many great reasons to visit Bryce Resort. Thank you so much for coming by to watch this video and watching it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop those down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I love to hear from you guys, so leave those questions. If you've been to Bryce Resort, tell me about your experience. I'd love to hear all of that. If you want to read more about Bryce Resort, I do have a full written blog post on my website at www.cochraneredding.com. I would encourage you to go check that out, and my YouTube to see more Virginia adventures. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Carried Away Travels for more adventures in Virginia and beyond. Once again, thank you for stopping by, and I wish you many happy travels.